All right. Test.
Test.
Test. Call it again.
Convincing idiots.
Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the Statman, not just anyone's opinion, the Statman Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Hello out there. As you may know, we tend to go long on this show sometimes on Convincing Idiots. So we had a lengthy discussion. We had a lot of fun this week. We talked about what we've been up to, but also you may have also heard this, but there was a little incident this week at the Oscars. It's kind of making news, so we figured we'd talk about it, and we figured we'd cut this segment out, make it its own thing. Maybe talk about the infamous slap a little bit amongst the three of us. So here it is, this week's cutaway minisode for you guys to listen to on Convincing Idiots, The Slap. We appreciate you listening. We thank you. Please like and subscribe and enjoy your mini little sode.
Mm-hmm.
Belfast did not win an Oscar, but as everybody
I heard
in the
that
damn-
shit slaps, though.
Yeah, and it
You like how I did that,
certainly-
Nick?
Yeah, that's a
I'm like
very
a youth.
easy- Yeah, it's a professional, smooth segue into the slap heard round the world. And if I happen to watch the Oscars live, and I saw this happen live, and I was like definitely taken aback. And we all know what happened. If you're if you're watching news at all or social media at all, you've seen
All the memes.
Memes and all kinds of stories that Chris Rock was introduced, and he came out and told a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head and said, "Hey, I love when are you going to shoot G.I. Jane 2, which is the Demi Moore movie where she shaved her head to become a Navy SEAL." And she happens to have a disorder or disease that can cause
alopecia.
one to thank you, that one may lose his or her hair. So she had kind of shaved her head, and Will Smith laughed initially, and the next thing you know, he walks up.
until he realized he was going to get in trouble for laughing.
Well, and then he walked up on the stage. Chris Rock thought it was going to be a bit there for a second, and Will Smith slapped him across the face, which was like, wow. And for a second there, I thought maybe it was a planned bit. But then you quickly realize that Will Smith sat back down. He said, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth," a couple times. And it was like, wow.
Could you hear that part live, or did they bleep it out when? Okay,
No,
I
bleeped
thought
it
that
out.
was overseas or whatever that one made it or whatever.
See, I got the good ones where I saw it on Twitter, them kind of talking about it, and people had already pulled up the feed from Japan.
Yes,
which is unedited. I guess the live broadcast here in the States,
it was they bleeped it out. It was
not
silent.
only that, but there was like a weird
dead air.
That's
what it was.
So they never showed the slap.
No. They showed the slap on live television.
They?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll say everything I saw was like the whole thing where he fucking squares up to him and
he slapped it. That was on live television. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he sat back down, and then it was dead air while Will Smith was yelling something, you could tell. And the next thing you know, then Chris Rock is like, "Well, that's the greatest moment in television history." And then he stood there for a second and thought about what to do. He stayed up there, he went ahead and introduced the Best Picture nominations for Best Documentary, and then he walked off stage, and that was it. It was a very is by far, well, I don't know if it was by far, is one of, I should say, the strangest moments, certainly in Oscar history, and
Yeah.
very
There was even a naked guy who
shocking.
ran across the stage one time.
Well, it's that, and then I've been seeing clips too, frankly, of in the '70s, and Marlon Brando won the Oscar for
He set that
Godfather.
African American, Native American
Yes,
woman up to accept the thing, and she just talked about like the plight and what stuff like that.
and you know what? Yes,
Is
go
that
back
the
and
same
watch
thing
that.
with John Wayne, where John Wayne like
Yes,
is a
yes.
piece of shit, and yeah,
He was fired up. I guess they had to have they had to have security people hold him off. So that woman came. Go back and watch that again to reflect on that compared to this. It's
Right.
a very interesting comparison. And then
Sure.
Clint Eastwood came out after her and made fun of her basically on in this, anyhow. But since
Those
that
are
time, it was
American
very
heroes,
strange.
fellas.
Yeah,
right,
that's right. Yeah, very very odd. So
Not
that's what
really.
happened.
No,
I guess
no.
it
Makes
isn't.
sense,
I
actually.
don't
Much
know.
expected.
yeah.
Well, so it happened. So you guys have at least seen the obviously the replays of the news clips or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
I've seen all the angles. I've seen the walk off with Questlove afterwards. I've seen the
Right.
Yeah. Did you see that? So that was
Um,
the big thing people were discussing. Was it staged? Was it real? I watched. There was a camera angle from after with Chris Rock and Questlove are walking off together, and Questlove kind of turns to him and like kind of makes a face and says something, and Chris Rock's just like you. I mean, I don't
he was
imagine
fired
there's
up.
any
But
way
talking
that he
about
was.
professionalism,
Oh,
that dude
yeah.
is like the epitome of professionalism.
To carry on after that is very impressive.
If you go in slow motion and watch that slap, there is a brief, literally second, where Chris Rock, after being, kind of rocked back, he drops his hand, like, in
Like
preparation.
he's gonna hit him back, right?
Yeah, like it's a very, very brief moment, but when you see fighters drop down, kind of with their shoulder back, he did that. I mean, yes, he was going that way because he was slapped, but watch his hand. If you see in slow motion, his hand twitches. There is a natural reaction to fight, and in an instant, he stopped it and squashed it and was a professional about it.
Well, if you saw, I mean, watching it live for a second there, I thought, oh, this is a bit when Will Ferrell walked out. But the reaction of both men was 100% authentic. And if both those guys were acting like Keith
It's the
said
greatest
before,
performance.
yeah. Yep.
They're not that
for
good of actors.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
don't think the thing that's so weird to me, and I was kind of because as you mentioned, Will Smith at first, the camera pans to Will and Jada Pinkett Smith when they're, and she rolls her eyes and makes a face, and he's laughing. Now I don't know if he maybe was, you know what I mean? Somebody's up there. It's the beginning of the Oscars. He's telling joke after joke, and everybody's just in the,
Maybe it's
routine
kinda
of
register.
laughing. Right, and I think because it's right after they said it, and he kind of laughs, but then it makes you wonder, like, does it hit him after the fact?
Right.
You know what I
Kind of
mean?
registered. Oh shit! What did he say?
Right, yeah. To where,
Like he's hearing joke, joke.
sure.
And that one wasn't even a fucking good joke.
Right, it wasn't. It wasn't
No,
a good joke.
it
And that's
was-
what people
no.
were, was he riffing? Was that a written joke? Like, it's not even a good joke.
I
Forget
would
about
assume
the fact.
he was.
Forget
riffing.
about the fact that it's shitty and it's like you don't make that joke, but it's not even a good one. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? Like, is that gonna get like a lot of laughs anyway, even if it was a good joke? Like it. So, but yeah, it all happened really fast. It was all very confusing because, like you said, when the camera leaves Will Smith, you have no reason to believe anybody has a problem. I mean, she kind of rolls her eyes, but that could also be like a ha ha, whatever. I don't know,
Right.
but I mean, for him to walk up there so quickly, because I mean, it was like, seconds. Like the camera
You gotta
left
think
him,
there's gonna
and
be like
seconds later,
security, but they don't know
he's
what's happening.
approaching the stage. Yeah, like what happened? Like, so it definitely very peculiar. I don't think it was staged.
I don't
all.
either.
I don't.
No.
At first, I did. Like I had to watch it a few times to
Yeah.
really.
I
to
think
believe it. But my first few times watching it, I was studying it to try to, because there was like one thing, and again, it will go good on what we're about to talk about on the second half of this show, is a bunch of professional wrestlers started tweeting and giving their takes of like what it would look like to take a slap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be ready for it, knowing it's coming, and still make it look.
And I mean, it looked like a
good.
heavy slap, and he stayed on. I mean, I don't know if somebody really, but it
He
was
didn't
really
catch
weird.
him
It was very,
fully, though. He didn't
it
catch
was
the
very
cheek fully.
robotic. He like
caught,
squared up to him. He stood up,
Right.
squared up to him, and like threw his whole hand and body whoosh, that way,
Well,
and like a robot, and then went and sat back down. And you're like, what just
because if he
happened?
would have done this, if he's bringing it up and drawing back, it's going to let
Sure, he's gonna
the
see
other
it
person
coming and-
know. Right.
Right.
He does a quick, kind of a weird hand coming around and spin. They're going to think that, you're not going to think it's coming. So I think
Right.
that's why he did that way.
Yeah. It was definitely odd. Now, it's my understanding that Diddy got him to make up afterwards in the after party. And
No.
they were all
No. That was once again people talking out their ass, because I guess Chris Rock didn't even go to the after party. Chris Rock left the thing after he was done.
Oh, okay.
So no. Now I guess he apologized publicly to him later the next day.
He did
but
Monday night. Yeah, both guys issued a statement. So,
but Chris Rock left.
Yeah,
didn't go to any party.
Yeah, Will Smith was seen partying it up on the footage and stuff. So
yeah, they said they were they it was on his Instagram story or whatever that like they've since been taken down. But there was like a picture of him and Jada Pinkett Smith like posing together and like kind of mean mugging, and it said like we chose violence was the caption.
Right.
So like they're making like jokes about it.
I mean,
and stuff.
I'll say it. Fuck Will Smith.
Why?
Okay, simple as this. Is there anything let alone that it was a fucking joke, is there anything that deserves the violence? They're fucking words.
Right. That's the big debate right now, right? So, and some of this even unfortunately becomes fucking political too. So you're right. There's plenty of people in that camp, Dean, that's like,
you're not allowed to hit somebody. That is called assault.
That's right. Violence is not the answer. Bad joke, this and that.
Doesn't
the
matter.
guy was trying to make a joke. I don't think he was making fun of her condition, whatever it is. And you got the other camp that's like this quote unquote old school stuff that says, hey, a guy's defending his wife's honor and all that crap. And the world has become
you being mad.
cream puffs
I get
and all this
upset.
garbage. Right. So the argument
you're not allowed to do it.
Right. So the argument is if you make fun of if somebody makes fun of your significant other, you're allowed to go up and just punch them. Are there situations in public to where it would be somebody does something to your significant other that is inappropriate, that would cause a man to go over and say, listen, and punch another guy? Sure. You talk about you're talking about touching, you're talking about hate.
That's
somebody
different.
says something.
No. That's different.
I agree.
Touching is different. You've got to go on this scenario, you have to go on just simply words. Okay. Insults or jokes or whatever you want to go. Because yes, touching is totally different.
And it'd be some random dude somewhere making fun of somebody. That'd be a different situation as well. And or somebody says something and says like, hey dude, listen, just lay off. And if somebody continues to persist, then obviously situations could be different if you're out in the real world, quote unquote, defending your significant other. Obviously, like you're saying, this is a comedian on stage. Was he purposely trying
an international broadcast?
Right. Was he trying to make fun of somebody's disease? That's right.
You know how many times Nick wants to punch me in the nose?
That's why we do this remotely, as a matter of fact. We used to do it in person.
Right.
I hit him once because I couldn't fucking take it, and now we're doing this remotely.
I mean,
you hit it all right.
Our views on Twitter alone are just slightly under what the tweets on the Will Smith and Chris
Very-
Rock
just under.
just slightly,
Just under.
right? So we understand the how public things
Yes.
could be and everything.
Right.
So, but obviously that's a whole different thing. As a comedian, he's making fun of people. He's not making fun of her disease. And like you say, it does. I agree with you. It did not warrant getting.
I mean, what does this stop open season for comedians? Like,
Yeah.
now a comedian's
Well,
gonna be on
that's
stage, and if they're
Sure.
do crowd work and or somebody's heckling, say something back, and this guy goes, "Okay, I'm now gonna get up and punch him."
Yeah. Should he have hit him for that? I don't believe he should have. No, I don't believe you should hit anybody for it. Like you said, unless it's
Correct.
you're being physically assaulted or someone you know what I mean. You're standing up for somebody who is being over words. No, you don't. But it's not always so easy. We've never been to a bar and either ourselves or someone else been in an altercation over words. It does happen. It doesn't make it right,
Sure.
but it does happen. Now, whether or not, I don't know if Chris Rock was aware of the situation, but I could see where in a situation like that, this is, his wife, and there's a lot has been made over their relationship over the years and what it is and how it works and their issues and things like that. But that is your person that you share children with, that you spend a lot of time with, that, this, and Chris Rock, whether this was an intended joke or not, and it just happened to hit them personally. The fact is, I could see a scenario where if he sees his wife in a vulnerable moment, knows that this is difficult for her, that this subject matter is difficult for her and something that really pains her, embarrasses her, whatever. And now they're on national television and this guy's up there fucking saying something about it. I get where you lose control in that situation. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying you go up there and hit him. If you have the foresight, when you go up and when you get your,
you know how many steps you had
award-
to have taken knowing that there's literally a cameraman knelt down in front of you.
Yeah, but how many times have you been in something and it takes hours to come down. Like I've been so pissed sometimes where it takes hours to get a level head over a situation where I'm mad for days. And then I finally get clarity. Walking
mad.
steps up there is right? It's just, if
But
you go like
know
that,
you're on national TV and you're nominated within 40 minutes, you have a really good chance of winning an Academy Award.
His speech was incredibly telling, I thought, about all that.
Right.
What he said made a lot of sense. And
no, it didn't.
It did. Well, maybe it's just the way I read into it, but first of
all, he didn't apologize there.
I won't finish my last point. Never mind.
So go ahead, by all means.
My last point.
I know your point on violence, and I don't want to be punched. So
the first, if you had, that's what I was gonna say. If you had the foresight, the proper way, in my opinion, to handle that situation, if it bothers you, would be wait. Like you said, you're pretty sure you're going to be getting an award this evening and making a speech for King Richard. It's pretty much a done deal. When you go up there, you do your thing, and there's a time to put that in and just make a pointed, serious statement and say that, like,
100%.
I don't appreciate that. Jokes like that are garbage. They have to stop. Keep that shit. Keep people's personal issues out of whatever. That would have been, if we're being, picky, and I'm sure if he had it to do over again, that would probably be a better way to handle it. But I could see in a situation, like I said, where you lose control, you're not in that proper headspace.
But Nick, he did two things. He did the slap, and then two, he did the screaming across the stage. He could have done that and just done that.
Sure.
Still been inappropriate, still been covered.
Sure.
But he could have just yelled, "Hey, keep my wife's name out of your motherfucking mouth."
Right.
And been fine with that. And got his point across.
Sure. But that's in a clear moment of thinking. Absolutely. It's just that you can get swept up in shit. I'm not saying
if you're sitting at the Oscars, man, and you're and it's a huge deal to be nominated for an Oscar, and also knowing that you're going to win an Oscar. And like we said, he knew. To sit there, that's got to be a lot of trauma, or not trauma, but a lot of pressure and stuff you're thinking about. That joke should not even have affected your brain.
And that's a good. So I talked to Allie about this last night. Okay, she asked me, what did I think?
Were you saying that I was making a good point?
Yeah, no, you are. Okay.
Warn a guy before you say such things.
No, from Allie's opinion was not saying she justifies a guy going and hitting a guy across the face. Okay, her point was the Oscars basically needs to figure out what it wants to be, right? So her thought was,
Yeah. Do you want this to be a roast, or do you want it to be a
exactly
right?
Exactly the point.
Are we going to do that garbage, or is it going to be like a legit like primetime TV
that's
thing, like an award
exactly
show?
correct. That's exactly correct.
But
So
given on that same thing, the fucking producer back there going, keep the camera on Will. I don't give a
Well-
fuck what he says. They
well-
know that they're going to get a lot more viewers next year.
that's the thing. That's all this thing too. So it's I retweeted on our Twitter feed, so that Frank Oz says something along that line, basically that his
He's
disappointment.
embarrassed.
Yeah, he's embarrassed by the whole Oscars thing because they're trying to figure out a way to simply get viewers and not make it a show about celebrating making movies. If you focus on that, your ratings may not be the best, but it's like it's a far cry of some of these prior. Now again,
That's Yoda saying it.
we talked about the the one in the 70s where the Native American actress gets up, and that was a bad show. That was a bad showing by Hollywood in that particular event. But there were plenty of other Oscars throughout the years where there's some jokes, but it's not these roasting type jokes. You're right, like Billy Crystal hosting and some of these other people. It's friendly, it's funny, but they're celebrating making movies. And Ali's point was, if you make it an event where you see all these people that are coming, especially those that are up for awards, their tension levels are already probably off the hook. Where it's just like they're already, you don't know if you're going to win. You're freaked out. You got people in your face all damn day, and your emotions are already in the red. A lot of these folks, and something like that could throw them off. Doesn't justify hitting somebody, mind you.
Right.
But the point is, her point was, if you're creating an environment where you're I don't know, you're dumbing everything down, and you should expect some of these reactions along that same line, perhaps. Again, not hitting people, just people not reacting the best and this and that. So either class it up again or don't, but if you don't class it up, don't be shocked when these weird things happen where people are saying bad things and there were jokes definitely prior to Will Smith that were definitely pushing the envelope. You're making fun of Leonardo DiCaprio dating young girls, and there's all kinds of different things out there.
When you hire comedians for that shit,
well, that's
that it started with fucking Don Rickles.
That's the point. So either if you bring in comedians like that, you have to expect. Listen,
exactly.
They're gonna come in here. They're gonna make fun of you, fucking people. Deal with it. That's it. That's what the show's going to be. And if they get made fun of, fucking smile.
Yep.
You can comment. You can comment later. You can pull somebody to the side and say, "Hey, man, listen, I don't like what you said there."
You could even, you could even slap him at the fucking in the men's room at the thing. But no, you had to make it a whole spectacle.
There could have been words.
It always gets back to slapping in the men's room, doesn't it? With you,
there could have been words off. You're right.
You know me.
But there could have been words off camera.
How we met.
Like, hey, listen, man, you push the envelope there. I don't fucking appreciate that shit. Okay.
Right.
As a man to man, I don't like that shit. Don't do that shit. And I'm sure if they would have had a conversation like that, I'm sure you would have saw Chris Rock publicly apologize. Say, listen, I crossed the line. Sorry about that. And all this.
Sure.
All this shit probably goes away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyways,
I tell you,
just decide what you want to be. Decide what you want to be. Oscars and go ahead.
Professional wrestler Mick Foley had a good point on Twitter. Would he, he slapped Chris Rock. Would he have done the same if The Rock was up on stage?
Hell no.
Reading that same joke?
No. Fuck no.
Exactly. He took advantage of it. Like Stern said, would you have done it if it was, and he said some other guy, some big guy.
Jason Momoa or somebody.
Yes, that's exactly who he said. Yeah, Jason Momoa. And again, he would not have.
No.
He took advantage of somebody that he could have slapped and got away with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
All right.
kind of
Yeah, it's true. It might make you think. Might make you think twice if you're dealing with
If The
somebody like.
Rock is up
What if
there,
they decide to punch
like
me? If Chris Rock decides to punch you, you're like, I'm going to take a punch from Chris Rock. Okay, it's
right.
whatever.
But if The
you're
Rock's
talking
standing up
like
there,
a professional wrestler,
hey,
the
you
guy's
have
a
to
fucking
you have to
mountain.
swing high.
Right.
You have to
Yeah.
jump up to get him.
Yeah. But what I thought was telling about his speech was, and this is why, to bring it full circle, I don't agree with what Will Smith did, but I'm not willing to write off Will Smith because he had one bad moment of judgment. Will Smith, in his acceptance speech, made comments about, there's a lot of things in this business that we have to put up with. We have to smile and turn the other cheek. And I don't think that was specific to what happened that night. I think he's talking over the course of his career. All these years. I mean, Will Smith has given you, short of that night, about 35 years of
Sure.
cooperation with the media, friendly, good guy, by all accounts,
Sure.
wonderful guy, great, welcoming, loving, puts up with everybody and all this stuff. You don't hear anything bad about Will Smith.
Again, it's not about the
And the only things
person.
that you hear bad, or not bad about Will Smith, but rather I guess scrutinizing him. There's a lot of talk about his marriage with her and her involvement with Tupac and how often that's brought up in their open relationship and their issues maritally.
They also
I
made
think
it
he
public themselves.
I think he fucking
Right.
snapped. I think he just had a moment where he snapped, and
again,
in a real moment, as a guy that just
I
feels
get
like
that.
maybe he's taken advantage of in the public eye of being
But
too
what
nice.
a horrible place to
Sure,
snap.
I'm not saying it
What a
was
horrible
thought
time
out
and
well
place.
enough to be like Chris Rock is going to take the brunt of my pent-up aggression, but I'm saying there's probably other stuff going on. You know what I
It
mean?
could have happened
Like,
the red carpet, could happen
and
at the Golden
sure,
Globes.
sure.
But it's the fucking Oscars.
Sure. Do not condone the action. Don't think it was right. I'm not camp A or camp B. Both guys were wrong. Both guys did wrong shit. And that's one was a little wronger than the other, but both guys did shitty things. A thing
Jokes
happened.
are jokes.
I still like them both professionally just fine. And it just is what it is.
All right.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page that out of line.
Nick likes people to get slapped.
That's right.
I mean, sometimes if somebody deserves it, He didn't cold cock him. He just slapped him. It's
I deserve it.
He didn't drop the people's elbow on him. He didn't put him in a sharpshooter. He didn't give him the razor's edge. He just slapped him.
You know who does do those
Somebody's
things?
finisher was a slap. Who was that? Somebody just had a slap, didn't they? Was it like William Regal or somebody? Something
Probably
stupid.
something like that.
Side character had like a slap, and that was their it was a hard slap. It's Will Smith's finisher.
It's not a bad finisher. When Will Smith actually, it would have made more sense if Will Smith would have had theme music.
Sure.
When he, like his, theme music hit and he's walking up to the stage and then slaps him and, they replay it as he walks back.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, what do you call a finisher like that? Maybe The Insurer?
Yes.
Something like that. But you know who does have The Insurer as a finishing move? Aaron Blake.
And
I'll tell you what he does with The Insurer.
Does he have slap insurance for Chris Rock?
He does have slap insurance, but he saves money for his opponents. Because he's a good guy. He's not a heel.
He's a face. Yeah.
He's a face.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Insurance is
slapping down high insurance prices, Dean.
Boom. There you go. There you go.
Oh man, still got it.
Blake Insurance, I tell you, see where I'm at. Brian messed me up there. I was so goddamn impressed by it. I'm like, whoa.
I tell you, Hood.
Look at this. Blake Insurance is I keep calling it Blake. Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, business, and life insurance. Slapping that with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-5711-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com. And when you tell them, for your free 5-minute quote today. But when you do this, don't slap Aaron. First of all, never slap Aaron Blake.
Unless it's on that sweet, sweet rump.
Ooh. That's a very good point. Now
that might get you a slap from one Tasha Blake. Go
I
slapping
know.
around Aaron's rump. I'll get you a
Well-
slap from Mrs. Blake.
We should probably take a break so I can go slap Aaron's butt, and then we can get on with it, right?
Yeah, so let's just summarize. So none of us agree that violence is not the answer.
Wrong, except sometimes when it is.
Right. You got to be able to take a joke. It was a bad joke.
Unless somebody's asking you what is not the answer, and then your answer will be violence. So then,
Yeah.
in turn, violence will be the answer.
Yes.
Right. So we all share the same opinion here. It sounds like you guys. We didn't have to convince each other of anything that differently. So violence is not the answer. Take a joke, and that's it. Handle it differently in a public forum like that, especially. So
And always remember,
that's it.
that's not funny is an opinion, not a fact.
Except when it's insulting people's conditions.
No, even in that,
That's
anything
still
could be
think-
a
It's
joke.
still not funny. Well, you
I don't
shouldn't.
think it's
Okay.
That's still what he,
Shouldn't do-
that's not what he was doing. Still, that he was making a joke about a shaved head. I don't even know he really thought.
Right. No, I
she
don't
had
know.
a condition
That's
at the-
There,
at the-
has anybody asked him that question? I know we're trying to move on from this, but has anybody asked him that question? Like, were you aware that she has a condition,
right.
or was it
I
just like
no, I don't know if that.
his statement, Chris Rock's public statement was he should not have made that joke. That's basically what he said. I should not have made that joke. He said nothing about being hit, none of that stuff. He basically said that, listen, I could do better, and I'll learn from this, basically, and I should not have made that joke. That's basically what he said. So that's it.
Anything's
But
funny.
clearly, both sides, their people got a fucking hold of them and said, you better fucking say something like this, or I'm going to type it for you, and you're going to put it out there, or I'm going to put it out there on your behalf, or whatever it is, and that's it. So none of this, at the end of the day, feels very sincere closing.
Mark my
So
words.
we'll see. Go ahead.
Mark my words. Both of them will be on the stage together
Oh, sure.
Saturday
yeah.
Night Live.
Something,
100%.
or the next Oscars at the very least.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, that's 100%. Yeah, the
100%.
Oscars.
They're
But
gonna
I'm
come
telling you,
out
they're going to do like
and-
a Saturday Night Live bit together.
I don't know either of those gentlemen on a personal level, but nothing I've ever seen of them would let me think that they wouldn't be able to get past that, or at some point
Sure.
go, hey, like, sorry, man, like, yeah, me too, like, whatever.
That's
and
right.
Move their separate ways. They both seem like decent, good dudes that probably get it. So
Chris Rock drove home going, that was crazy. That was fucked up. But holy shit, my Netflix numbers for my new special, when I tell this story, is going to be off the fucking chart.
That's right.
Mhm.
Okay. So you talk. Okay. So let's wrap this up here. So after the break, we're going to take a
Put
short
it in a
break.
sleeper hold.
That's right. We're going to put a sleeper hold, pause the subject for now, let it calm down.
did anybody ask Diddy how he got that? Did they ask him for comment? Did they get him to talk about what happened?
Well, he was giving all of his reports and comments, but it was to a fake hibiscus bush in the corner of the room. But he spent hours telling a story to it.
Okay,
He yelled at it a few times. It was very strange.
interesting.
All right. So we'll take a break here, guys. We'll end this topic.